come we didn't get it appraised? I guess that's something that I would have liked to
Well,
have seen.
you certainly understand, and so, you know, obviously appraisals cost money, so our goal was to have assessing come up with a determination based on comparables and then put it on the market. And of course, those prices are always only as good as what somebody's willing to pay. So in this case, the client, based on the assessment, has offered something relatively close to what the value is. You know, the issue is in terms of getting the appraisal done right now, we just don't have the money to pull it from anywhere just to list it. So the charter says that it has to be a certified appraisal from assessing. So that's what we went with in order to meet this timeline. Quite honestly, we weren't sure how fast something was going to come up. And so once it was listed, the offer came through pretty quick.
What was it listed for?
It was their determination was anywhere between 1.3 and 1.4 million was what their determination was placed at. Now this building has been sold conditionally a couple other times, but again they were predicated on keeping the tenant in place, which is gone now. That's you're just selling a building at this point in time.
Okay, couple of questions. Where does the money have to go? Is it tied to any other funds? Brownfields or TIFAs or?
Don't know yet. To the best of my knowledge, based on previous discussions, no, there was no other funds that it could go directly into general fund. We would have to confirm that with TIFA, because the way that deal was originally done, when the state of Michigan had that really inexpensive rate, they got that because they did all the capital improvements. They did the build-outs. They did the necessary improvements, so there was no additional funding that took place. The only thing I don't know is where the money was, where it came from to originally secure the property. So we would have to analyze that.
Next question, we have gas pumps back there, the storage tanks. What's all involved in that?
It's where?
Behind that building?
That would be part of the sale if it's in the property. I mean, they would get whatever's there. Now, there's a clause in here that was just part of the previous deal that basically they've agreed to build out a cart barn for the golf course, which, you know, Jeff Dobeck can speak to that a little bit of how they determine, you know, the value and all of that. But in terms of the gas pumps, if they're on that property, I mean, it's being sold.
Well, what I'm thinking is that if they're on that property and there's an issue with it later.
Well, there's environmental conditions in this deal.
There's gotta be some land
Madam
recognition
Chair.
with that business.
Okay. Before I go, the salt dome would also be, that would be that their property. Okay.
Madam Chair, the gas pumps, currently they're not in use. However, we do keep a certain level in the gas pumps, and we do have them certified. So we had them certified last year that they're not leaking, and they are locked up and shut down properly. We pay the service and come out and do that. So there is documentation.
So the city's going to give up those pumps and the salt dome?
Well, if they're on the property, we would have to.
I don't know where the property starts and ends.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It is.
Yeah, we are getting out of the gas pump business though. I mean, but the issue is that, you know, getting rid of them costs money. If I could close them down right now, these ones behind City Hall, I wouldn't. They're a nightmare. I don't, you know, we're going to have to look at ways of getting rid of them. Yeah, the controls don't work on them. I mean, I've had multiple conversations with IT about getting mechanisms in place, and it's just cheaper to get gas cards and you know, get away from these pumps. You have environmental issues to deal with, so you know, we have no desire to keep moving forward with gas pumps.
So basically, there's going to be nothing that can come back before us as far as environmentally after the sale of this.
Yeah, I mean, there's provisions in here that allow them the right to have phase one. I think it was phase one.
Phase one, yeah.
Because this, for instance, I think at the DPW, there was a system in place before you put in a number and all that. I don't think it worked on and off. And not saying anybody does, but anybody can pull up there and fill up their vehicle.
The issue with the pumps isn't the pumps, it's not what's in the ground, it's the control mechanisms that break and fail. And you know, we've had just challenges trying to figure out ways of, you know, getting them operational so that they can be, you know, back to their intended use purposes.
Now, are the golf carts, they're electric, right?
Correct.
Okay. Is there any gas-driven ones?
We do. We have our BEV cart, it's
Okay.
gas driven, and as well as our Ranger cart that goes
Okay.
around all day.
Yeah. So we
And
have.
so we have 4 5-gallon gas cans for those
Okay.
carts, and we monitor that. We have a log of who filled it up and who's used it, and so we know how many days we're getting out of those 5-gallon tanks.
And if I can, I want you to just to talk about the cart barn in a second, Jeff, if you would, but before we go there, certainly if council doesn't feel that this is the best deal for the city of Taylor, I mean, I completely understand. Here's our concern. This building is going to be difficult for somebody in the real estate business to market because they're gonna have to invest money in it to split it up. You know, finding a single use for this facility, including with the challenges related to parking, are not gonna be easy. We have a qualified buyer that's interested in possibly presenting what we feel is a very, very fair offer based on what assessing came back with. If we don't accept this deal or find another buyer, we have to maintain it, we have to insure it, we have to keep an alarm on it, we have to go in there every day and check the pipes and you know, just because it's no longer being utilized, that's always been a source of revenue for the city of Taylor. That ship has sailed now and that's gone. It's in Inkster now. So, you know, if we could find another tenant, that would be great. At this point in time, I'm very confident that this is a very fair offer, and of course the cart barn being rolled into this becomes extra attractive based on, you know, what the needs are for the golf course itself.
Okay. Just the one thing, I agree with you, I think we need to get out of the real estate business, I think we got too many cases. But my concern is, and something that I would like to see in the future, I would like to see appraisal, not comparison.
Agree 100%.
So I think that's one of the biggest things, is this is a building, we got many, you know, this is not the sportsplex, I understand that, but, you know, I agree with you when you fought up there many times that we want appraisals.
I agree.
And that's what I would like to see, I'm not speaking on behalf of everybody else, but.
Sure, and if council said, look, we don't want to move forward with it based on that comment, I mean, I would understand, but I just want to caution you that understand that we have a very qualified buyer with a fairly attractive plan, and we're desperately trying to find revenue sources and also relieve ourselves of these liabilities. And I know it's a nightmare that we have to, you know, we have to go over there and we have to maintain it, and you know, if we have to put a roof on it at some point in time, that's big ticket expenses that it's an empty 61,000 square foot building right now, guys.
Question, the money that we would get and once you find out, is that gonna be, is our salt plant over there, you know, it's falling apart?
Well, I think it was hit or something.
It's collapsing
Yeah.
on itself, and we really need that building, so I hope some would be earmarked if it's passed.
Well, I figured of the 1.3 million, 1.2 would go to the mayor's office. Of course, we would have to prioritize. We would have to prioritize it and figure out what are our needs.
Yeah, that would be no.
I just have one other question for Mr. Winkler.
Yeah, my brother's Michael Wikol, so
Oh,
it's an
oh,
easy
wow,
way
that was
to
great.
Yeah, my parents had a sense of humor.
I think you mentioned that your plan was to lease out for retail and/or office space?
Yeah, or maybe some conference center.
Conference center, okay, that would be my other question is, you know, if the city had any approval later on as to what was going in and out of there, just in case.
It would have to fit the intended use, or of course go for a variance. The other thing we accomplished with this, which is also very important, is you put it back on the tax roll. Right now, that's the other thing, it's not paying any taxes.
What do you estimate those taxes? Have you figured that out?
I think the other comparables are in here. Let me look for a minute.